I'm with the staff.
Okay, who's here for the Robotech panel? Let me hear ya! All right, there we go. Thank you for your patience, folks. Well, folks, our friends at Advance have launched a new line of Robotech merchandise, and they created this really cool music video I want you all to check out. All right, so here we go. Here's the music video. Tell me what you think of it. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's Robotech from Advance. Let me hear ya! You can order it right now at advance.gg/Robotech. Now, folks, did you see and hear that okay? Can you see the slides on the screen okay? Awesome. Let's start with our panel ground rules. First off, Comic-Con only allows audio and video recording from people who have obtained a film location agreement. However, non-flash photography of the slides is allowed, so feel free to take as many pictures, just don't use your flash, okay? We encourage fans to use hashtag Robotech and hashtag Sdcc on social media. For everyone's enjoyment, please silence all mobile devices, okay? And hold all of your questions until the end. We have ample time for Q&A, and I have the mystery box here that's full of prizes. Uh-oh, see? Uh-oh.
Somebody forgot to turn off their phone.
Yeah, someone did. Let's see what happens. Don't be that guy. So, there it goes. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so folks, now with that out of the way, my fellow Robotech fans, members of the media, industry, and invited guests, welcome to San Diego. And welcome to the Robotech 40 years of Robotech here at San Diego Comic-Con. Hold it, folks. This is the 40th anniversary of Robotech. Let me hear you. Welcome to San Diego. Let's introduce our panelists. Please welcome our creative director, Tommy Yune. Also our assistant, Dexter Teodani. Wow, 40 years. That's a long time. Think about that, folks. That's 4 decades. 480 months. 14,610 days. Which comes to 350,640 hours. And if you really want to be pedantic, that's 21,037,968 minutes. Yes. So folks, in other words, a lot of time has passed. If you don't believe me, think about 40 years ago. You know those streaming services, Crunchyroll, Netflix, Amazon, Pluto, and Tubi? They didn't exist. Our critics would say, oh, that's no big deal, Kevin, because you know what? I can just run down to Blockbuster and Suncoast and pick up an anime DVD or VHS from these distributors. Well, guess what? They did not exist. Hold it, folks. 911 is calling me. Hi, folks, this is Kev. All right, there we go. Sorry about that. 911 was calling me. I don't know. Maybe they were calling a missing persons report. But folks, they did not exist. And some critics would say, well, Kevin, that's not a big deal. Because we had the cable networks. Cartoon Network, Network, Sci-Fi, G4, Anime Network, Adult Swim. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they did not exist either. And folks, our critics would counter, well, we don't need these cable networks because we had a robust anime convention circuit 40 years ago.
No.
Yeah. Well, folks, 40 years ago, all these conventions you see here, they didn't exist either. Now, our critics would then get really angry. They'd haul out the nuclear option. They would say, well, Kev, come on. Because adult animation was thriving because 40 years ago, we had The Simpsons and the Fox Network. Well, folks, I'm here to tell you, the answer is no. Because The Simpsons made its television debut in 1989. And the Fox Network didn't even go on the air until 1987. In other words, folks, we were in the dark ages.
Saturday morning cartoons.
Whoa, folks, no. See, folks, the only way large numbers of people in North America could watch anime was by tuning into independent television stations through syndication. And in Southern California, they tuned into this.
Channel 13 KCOP, Los Angeles.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the 90-minute codename Robotech made its debut on KCOP on March 4th, 1985, followed by all 85 episodes of Robotech airing Monday through Friday at 4:30 p.m. And folks, when people tuned in, this is what they saw.
Well, what now, big brother? I'm still in the service. A guardian of liberty with nothing to guard. A stalwart watchdog watching a field of flowers. What would you do? What are my options? The war is over, but there's still the reality of the Zentradi's presence among us. These giant aliens appear friendly, but how many times have we been victimized by our own friends? Even if they are friends, all I ever wanted to do was fly. And there are no more flying circuses. I wonder if you remember what you said to me on that first day when I enlisted in the service.
An American president once observed that the price of liberty is eternal vigilance. There's no more flying for fun. This time you'll be flying for the safety of your home and for your loved ones. For your loved ones, Rick.
Flying for my loved ones. Flying for my loved ones, huh? All right. Time to go flying. Thanks, big brother.
Now, folks, when Robotech made its debut in North America, it was unlike any other anime series that had come before it. And audiences agreed. Here, 40 years ago, in Southern California, Robotech on KCOP was the #1 entertainment show in its time slot. And if you look at the slide, you will see it's only 2% away from winning the time slot overall. That's pretty impressive. But folks, what's even more impressive is, in New York City, Robotech was the #1 show in its time slot. Pulling 20%, meaning 2 out of every 10 television sets in New York City were watching Robotech. And Robotech would go on to stun the industry by doing the unthinkable. In its original syndicated run, Robotech beat ABC, CBS, and NBC programming 27 times in the top 50 television markets in its first 12 months of syndication. Not only that, but Robotech also polled impressive demographics as well. #1, children 2 to 11. Number two, children 2 to 11. #1, teens 12 to 17. And #1, adults 18 to 49. Now you might notice something about this slide. Notice something about the adults. More adult women than men watched Robotech in its original syndicated run. And folks, these fans do exist. I promise you, they hate Min May too. And this is going to have a very interesting impact on the franchise we're going to reveal in a few moments. Now, what do you do when you have a hit on your hands? Well, you make merchandise, silly! And the first wave of Robotech merchandise was launched. And folks, the results were, well, let's just be honest, kind of mixed at best. Why? Let's go back to the slide for a moment. While Robotech was great ratings and demographic-wise, Harmony Gold was running up against an ingrained mindset that existed in North America for almost 15 years at this point. That animation was strictly for young children, and the merchandise should reflect this. For example, licenses would look at and see that 20% of the Robotech's audience, 2 to 17, was female, and that the adults, the majority of adult women were the majority. And the licenses thought, you know, how do we reach these people? How do we make stuff for this audience? I know, we'll make Barbie dolls. Yes, they exist. Yes. Oh yeah. And our licenses thought, well, we can make the boys some crude action figures, a Veritech that looks nothing like in the show and doesn't transform, or that Cyclone that doesn't transform either.
Not that one.
And it got to the point where licenses just took the Robotech name and just slapped it on anything they could find. So why did this happen? See, here's why this happened, folks. The mindset in North America, despite Robotech's clear rating success, was that merchandise, especially for animated IP, was strictly for young children. The adult collector market we all enjoy today simply did not exist. And many licenses just didn't understand Robotech's audience, instead going with, it doesn't matter, it's just an animated kids show. And this, combined with new shows that replaced Robotech after its original syndicated run, made people say, it's just a fad. And Robotech, you know what? It's dead and buried. And the franchise was condemned to darkness. But while our critics declared us dead, there was one group that disagreed, and that was our fans. Our fans wrote, our fans faxed, and they called TV stations, cable networks, toy distributors, demanding that Robotech return. And then, at the turn of the millennium, this newfangled thing called the internet came of age, and Harmony Gold launched Robotech.com. And it was not just the website, but it was an entire brand relaunch for the 21st century, with new licensing that caters to existing Robotech fans while creating new ones. For example, 40 years ago, we had the crude action figures that at best sold poorly. Today, our friends at Toynami have launched a new line of action figures at a competitive price point that honor the legacy of the show. Plus, Toynami has announced a new super scale Alpha Fighter. Yes. This is the largest licensed transforming Alpha Fighter ever created worldwide. And we'll have more information on it later this year. Folks, 40 years ago, we pandered to certain demographics by making merchandise no one in their right mind would buy. Today, we have a new line of action figures that both men and women, boys and girls want to buy. And we're pleased to introduce our new 112 Dana Sterling action figure from Kids Concept. Now folks, Kids Concept has heard you, because they know you want Dana in both her armor and her regular uniform. So what they're doing is, they're creating something special. You buy 2 action figures for one single price. You get both Dana in her armor and Dana in her standard uniform for one price. 2 action figures at one price. And this is now on sale from our friends at kidsconcept.com. Folks, 40 years ago, we had those cyclones that did not transform. Today, we have this. this the Noble Class Cyclone. And folks, you don't have to wait. You can buy it right now from the Toynami booth down down on the floor at booth 3229. And also the Toynami booth was the Rick Hunter variant Cyclone. But something happened, folks. It got stuck in customs. So George had to put this online. If you were on our Facebook page yesterday, you saw the emergency broadcast that I did. And we put these up online, and 20 minutes later, the online allotment sold out. However, George has a few remaining. He's waiting to get through customs. Keep checking back at the booth, folks. He's been harassing the U.S. Customs agents left and right, and hopefully he'll be able to bring some in either tomorrow or Saturday, okay? Now, folks, 40 years ago, we had Robotech spiders that did not transform. Yes, you remember this, don't you? Today, we have our new 172 fully transforming line from Kids Concept. They have high die-cast metal content, PVC piping, and LED lighting. And Kids Concept is following up with the Maximiria variants and our God of Flame with his evil brother, Deep Purple. But that is not all. Our friends at 3.0 have their own transforming lines of VF1s. And these are available right now. They're on display right now at booth 2994.
Actually, right before this panel, they just ran out.
They just ran out?
Their entire allotment for the whole week actually sold out.
And people say Robotech is dead, you know? Well, folks, you can see both the Rick Hunter and the Roy Fokker, but know this, folks, the Maximiria are on their way. And if you go down, you'll see the Fast Packs are on their way too. And that's a good thing, since our friends at Kids Concept are bringing out the Zentradi Battle Pods. Yes, including the Officers Pods, folks. And you can pre-order these right now from kidsconcept.com. These will arrive in late 2025. And this reminds me, folks, 40 years ago, you might remember the Destroids, right, from Matchbox? And nothing's been made of them since. They've been neglected. Well, folks, Kids Concept thinks this is a travesty, and they're launching a new line of 172 fully posable Destroids. These are now available for pre-order, and this includes the Tomahawk. Yeah, get that photo, folks. But while all this was going on, I was ordered to go down to LAX and hop on a plane to Tokyo, Japan, where I received a tour of Tatsunoko Studios. And after my tour, I sat down with their senior management. And during our meeting, I mentioned that at their Anime Japan booth, there was this new Legios and Shred on display. And I made some inquiries, and they told me this is manufactured by a company called Sentinel. And we worked out a deal, and I asked some questions. And I said, well, what's the scale? They told me it's 148. Will both the Alpha and Beta be available here in North America? The answer is yes. Do the Alpha and Beta fighter transform? Hell yes! And ladies and gentlemen, the most important thing all, do the Alpha and Beta hook up? The answer is yes! So everyone's asking, when will it be on sale? Well, first off, Sentinel and Harmony Gold are waiting for the international tariff situation to calm down. Wait, hold on, folks, it's coming into focus, okay? And once it does, we're going to announce which retail outlets will hold it and where you can purchase it from. But while you're waiting, we invite you all to come to the Robotech X Fan booth on the mezzanine, where it will be on display both Friday and Saturday, okay? And folks, trust me, this photo does not do it justice, all right? But Sentinel wasn't done. Sentinel teamed up with our friends at Kids Logic, and they're launching their own line of VF1s, fully transformable VF1s. And we're gonna be giving one of these away both tomorrow and Saturday at 5 p.m. Now, if you want to win this, you must be present at the Robotech X booth tomorrow at 5 p.m. If you're not present, you won't win the prize, okay? And we want you all to come on down. You're really gonna like these. And also, folks, we're pleased to announce the triumphant return of Mep Toys, making their Invid Scout and pre-tie figures. Yeah, 100 scale, folks. If you notice, he's got the club. You can club Rick Hunter's Veritech with. Yes. And folks, if that's not enough, our friends at Reflex Collectibles have their new line of Robotech flight helmets. You can order these right now at reflexcollectibles.com. And folks, speaking of attire, our friends at Ghost to Ghost have launched a new line of Robotech apparel, which is available right now at the Crunchyroll store. And if you don't want to order online, I urge you all to go to the Toynami booth and pick up these Robotech t-shirts. They're in stock and they're amazing. Some of you already have them, I know. They're available at booth 3229. And folks, what about Robotech music for the 40th anniversary? Well, folks, we're pleased to announce a company called Enjoy the Ride Records is going to make a Robotech 40th anniversary soundtrack. Would you like to see the artwork? You're the first people ever to see this. Here it is. And folks, this will be a vinyl record and available digitally as well. And speaking of vinyl records, you know, folks, 40 years ago, the first Robotech RPGs were released.
Yeah, most of them.
You like the RPGs? Yeah, yeah. Well, who likes the RPGs? Let me see. Yeah, all right, there we go. Well, folks, our RPG legacy continues with Strange Machine Games. They've launched with the Macross Saga, followed by the new Robotech RPG Homefront. Robotech Homefront is the supplement to the Macross Saga, covering both the Robotech Masters and the new generation eras. Here's some of their artwork. Would you like to see some more? Want to see some more? Yes! Want one more? Yes! Here you go, folks. Oh, know who the battle pods are fighting? Look really closely. Yeah. Yes. Folks, I'm pleased to announce that both Robotech the Macross Saga and Robotech Homefront are now available shipping for $60 a piece from Strange Machine Games. Would you like to see the new Robotech RPG? Yes. All right, check out this video.
Galaxy came to mankind's home. It brought the promise of war to our doorstep. The warriors Entradi came to claim their lost battle fortress in the name of the Robotech Masters. We won the war, but at terrible cost. But this was but the prelude. We knew the Robotech Masters would return to finish what their servants had started. And thus, we prepared the home front for the inevitable conflict. But this was not the only plan. For humanity to survive, we had to spread to the stars. Not only to find new worlds to live on, but to take the coming conflict to our enemies. And in the depths of space, we would find our place in the universe. In the galaxy at large, we would form new allies. The Sentinels Coalition, an alliance of aliens. The Carbarons, the Garudon, the Spherians, the Praxians, the Peritonians, and the Haydenites. Together we fought a greater threat, the Invid, and won. But the cost of freedom was our planet Earth. The remaining Invid conquered in retribution, leaving the stars our only hope. While liberation will come, a different darkness stirs at the heart of the universe, which threatens to awaken. Robotech Stars contains all equipment, figures, mecha, starships, and information for the Sentinels and Shadows Chronicles sagas of Robotech. The world of Robotech expands across the galaxy with more potential stories, with a vast array of aliens, worlds, mecha, and enemies. New rules, talents, races, and careers will expand your stories in the untold sagas. Join the pioneers.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Robotech Amongst the Stars will be the next role-playing game from Strange Machine Games with 2 variant covers. And you know, folks, I want to sort of talk about something else. Comics. Yes. How many of our fans of Robotech comics here? All right. Well, folks, 40 years ago, a company called Comico got the Robotech license and launched the Robotech comic line. And the Robotech comic line was so successful that Comico went from total obscurity to number 3 behind Marvel and DC due to the Robotech sales. Today, we have Titan Comics. And Tommy, I want to bring you in here on this because this is the, comics are your area. Tell us about Titan Comics and the new Robotech Recounter comic.
Yeah, so one thing Titan does very well is they do both news stories and compilations of what have been published before, such as the Comico issues that you showed earlier. They're actually compiling them into big omnibus editions that fans, instead of having to track down each individual issue, can get big collections now from Titan. And also the Rick Hunter series that was written by Brandon Easton, that was a big success. And one thing that they've done with that is also available in graphic novel form now. And it covers the stories that you haven't seen before. It goes on with Rick Hunter's career after To the Stars. So you see what happened to him immediately after that, before the Sentinels mission. And so you'll find out more about the backstory of Rick Hunter. And here you see all the alternate covers, which were done by many talented artists. And so that is actually available now. Well, it actually came out between last Comic-Con and now, but actually Titan is actually out of inventory of that as well.
They sold out too.
So yes, that seems to happen a lot with Robotech.
Tommy, I'm glad you brought this up too, because you talked about how it's so tough to find them. Well, at Titan's booth, they have the Robotech, the original Comico run, all 36 issues in 3 volumes in a special slipcase at Titan's booth. If you go right down to 5537, you can check that out right now. So Titan has that, and of course, Titan also is relaunching the Robotech novels. Yes. Oh yeah, as new omnibus editions. Now folks, 40 years ago, you could watch Robotech Monday through Friday on KCOP. Today, you can watch Robotech when you want with their new Steelbook Blu-ray from our friends at Crunchyroll, which will be sold exclusively at Walmart. Also, high-definition streaming. All 85 episodes of Robotech are now streaming worldwide in HD on Crunchyroll, along with Robotech the Sentinels and Robotech the Shadow Chronicles. And we're pleased to announce that Genesis Climber Mospeada is now streaming worldwide on Crunchyroll as well. But folks, people ask, what about Southern Cross? Well, folks, once our distributor comes to us with a release date, we're going to let you all know via Robotech.com. What? Yes. Once we know, we'll let you know. And folks, Crunchyroll, as you know, is owned by Sony. And that's where our live-action film rights are set up over at. Oh, yes. But that's another story for another time. Wait, hold it. Meanwhile, back at Tatsunoko Studios, our friends Mari and Chris introduced us to a possible merchandising partner who was eager to do business with us. And after numerous emails across the Pacific, a secret meeting was held at Anime Expo. And we're pleased to announce, this is the first time outside of Asia this is even known, a new license. Ladies and gentlemen, Takara Tomy is going to launch a new line of Robotech toys. Yes, that Takara Tomy. And here is the first look. A special edition Alpha Fighter. Yes. And here's another look at it too. Also, folks, the pilot is articulated. Yes, and so is this, along with the Cyclone. Stay tuned, we're gonna have more information for you. We literally just signed this deal. All right, folks, we have a limited time. Let's open up the Q&A. I got some prizes to give away. Line up right here, okay? Folks, do me a favor. We have a limited amount of time. Keep your questions brief and to the point, okay? All right, sir, go ahead.
Okay, I'm happy to see the the ground pounders coming up with the Destroids.
Yes?
Any chances of a Mach 2 monster in 172nd? I want my walking battleship.
You want your walking battleship? We'll let Kids Concept know. Here you go. You're gonna get a Robotech shaker.
Oh, sweet.
Yes. All right, sir.
We have Battlecry on PlayStation 5.
Oh, so what was that?
Upgraded Battlecry game.
Tommy, you wanna?
All right, that's actually something we've been working on, is getting the vintage games back online on newer platforms. So we've done that with the Game Boy version onto the Switch. And so that's actually something we've gone back and forth to find a developer who can make the old PS2 content work on something modern right now. So that's definitely something we're looking at. We haven't crossed that bridge yet.
All right, next question.
So are we going to be seeing now, because there's been a split between the two franchises, between Macross, and I guess the fandom, I should say, between Macross and Robotech. So are we going to be seeing us moving towards harmony between the two of us?
Well, it's already happening. We're letting all the different Macross spin-offs. You can watch them on Disney Plus right now.
Yeah.
And right now, all the different Robotech versions you can see on Crunchyroll. So, I mean, at this point, the companies have worked out a deal and they're coexisting fine.
Yeah, our relationship with Big West are cordial. And because it's cordial, I'm going to give you a limited edition 1 of 1,000 Macross.
Next time.
All right. Next question.
Merchandise available for us.
I'm sorry, say that one more time, please.
Loving that we're having new merchandise available to be purchased. What about this game?
We're working on it. So yes, the companies are aware. We're working on a strategy for that. So yes.
I mean, we have a new license team, Takara Tomy. And so, yeah, so. All right, next question.
Claudia Grant goes home with this gentleman.
Yes. Hey, my friend, how's it going on?
How come there isn't Robotech Lego?
That's a great question, my friend. Would you like Robotech Legos? Yeah! All right, we'll work on that. But while you're waiting, though, I'm going to give you a limited edition Jada Toy Toyota Supra, okay? That'll tide you over, I'm sure. Yeah. Yes. All right. Daniel, welcome.
All right, so my question is Battlecry considered canon in you guys' eyes? And is it possible anywhere in the future, it might be I'm dreaming, but an animated movie for Robotech Battlecry? I mean, the script is already done for that.
We were working on continuing the Battlecry story in comics. We had actually worked on a crossover idea. It just never came to fruition, but maybe with Titan, we might make it work.
No SDF was toy when he gets the mug.
All right, sir, next question.
Hi. So, the iconic Robotech opening song, do you think we can see it in live action movies? Because if I want to see a live action movie, I want it to open like that. To really bring me in.
Okay, well, right now, music for the live action film is a little too early to talk about, so it's a little too early for Sony. But while you're waiting, I'm going to give you a Robotech 30th anniversary soundtrack, okay? All right, next question.
Okay, so when I saw the little trailer opening of Rick Hunter, I was like, okay, are they gonna ever bring that to more modern standards to today, if you were gonna remake it or remaster it?
Well, it's been remastered in HD. A reboot of Robotech is the live action film.
Okay.
Yeah, so while you're waiting, I'm gonna give you a Robotech t-shirt, all right? Next question.
You did a great job joining all the trilogy together, but how are you going to do it again now with these new themes that you're working on for the action movie?
I'm gonna go get a drink first.
In terms of what stories the live action film can make, it can pursue all of the stories of Robotech. So it's not specifically any one section of Robotech. They can do the entire franchise if they so please. So, I would love to see them do everything.
Titan issue of Robotech and a t-shirt. Just so you know, we have 10 minutes.
Yeah. Sir.
All right, you've heard from us. You guys, perfect world, your ideal franchise you could leverage in. What crossover would you guys like to see?
Well, first off, we already did a Robotech Voltron crossover. All right, and we're friends with World Events. Bob Koplar is a friend. We're friends with them. We always like to say it's not Robotech or Voltron or Robotech. It's Robotech and Voltron. You don't get to have to choose. You get both. Okay. Tommy, do you want to answer that question first?
Yeah, we do entertain lots of crossover ideas, but one thing is important is that does the story work? Yeah. We just don't want to kit bash something just to see them, whatever. So we would actually like to see an interesting story.
Thank you.
Okay, we have Robotech Sentinels Volume 1 and the sticker figure set. And just so you know, there's already been a Robotech Top Gun mashup because Top Gun ripped off Robotech.
All right, sir, your question.
Thank you very much. So what I want to ask you is, have you given any thought to growing the brand more than just the toys? I'm going to explain why. How many young people are actually in here that are in that 12 to 17 range you spoke about from 40 years ago? How many of you in here were that 12 to 17-year-old 40 years ago? So you're releasing toys that we enjoy because we're adults now. But what about growing the IP more for the children so there's a new generation, unintended, of children who are interested in the Robotech franchise?
Excellent question. That's why we're on Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is a very young skewing anime market, and it's bringing a whole bunch of younger fans who are watching Robotech.
Okay, but it's still playing yesterday's stuff. Is there any plans to grow it by bringing in new content? You have the stories of the Sentinels, the Hayden Knights, and all of the, the Great Counters travels into space that haven't really been chronicled in any sort of anime or movie. So it would be nice to see that.
But yes, we want to, but to really just keep it succinct, we're running out of time. So many pictures.
There's an example of this happening, what you're saying. And it happened with the video games in the early 2000s. When we released the video games introducing new characters, that actually brought new younger fans because that's how they get into entertainment now. A lot of these kids are on their phones, mobile devices, or game consoles. And so we do think that video games are a very important component of that for Robotech in the future.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Titan Comics, Robotech, and a t-shirt.
Sir.
How you doing?
Good.
Are there plans to create like a monster mech? One of the Dustroids?
Would you like one?
Yes.
Okay. We'll let them know.
Okay.
Here's a battle pod. Sir. Hello.
Yeah. Down to the booth, I was noticing that you guys were releasing the 155 scale Vertex. How do you guys do that? I mean, how did that happen?
Demand.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, supply and demand, yeah.
I mean, Bandai had that, right? That was Bandai mold, right? It belonged to Bandai.
No, this is a new mold.
It looks like the same from Jetfire.
Oh, it's no, but Bandai didn't know that either.
No.
It was originally patented by Takatoku, but that company went bankrupt, went belly up. That patent no longer exists.
So you guys have green lights of like pre-release.
Yeah, I mean, that's like what you would call a nostalgia release to let people feel like it's a
We need
toy
that.
from that era. Yeah.
It's awesome. Okay, that's awesome.
Yeah. There you go.
Titan Comics.
All right. Yes.
Just want to say that the last few years, this has always been my favorite panel to come to. I always look forward to it. But the last few years, I keep hearing about the live action film. Is there any sense of when it is coming out?
So, folks, I always use this term in Hollywood. You know, you need 10,000 people to make any type of project, whether it's live action or animation, all to say yes. We've got like 9,000 people already saying yes. We have to work on another 1,000. So that's what we're doing. It's a slow process, but Sony's fully committed to it. Senior management at Harmony Gold talks directly with the president of Sony Pictures. Okay? So while you're waiting, I'm going to give you a Robotech pullback Mimne and a Robotech box set. There you go. All right?
Are the Lost Mimne songs on the new soundtrack the ones that never were included in the original Robotech? Like My Boyfriend's a Fighter Pilot?
Wait, say that one more time.
Are the Lost Mimne songs in the new soundtrack release?
Oh, well, that's not lost songs. That's actually a different IP. So you're talking about music from the Macross series.
Yeah, the original Robotech.
No, not original. No, Macross.
That weren't included because they cut.
No, that's not Robotech. That's Macross. So we're aware of the very different aspects of the different series. You know, Robotech was adapted differently. So we do have the complete Robotech soundtrack, and we're going to have a more complete one for the 40th anniversary. But at the same time, you can get the music from Big West as well. Big West has been releasing their own soundtracks as well. So, you know, I would encourage you tracking that down.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we've been given the last question side of this Blu-ray set of the new generation. You saw the
All right, folks, I'm sorry. What we'll do is we're going to go outside and we'll continue the conversation out there. So exit out here, exit out this way, folks, okay? We have to go for the next panel. Thank you all. Thanks for 40 years of support. Look forward to the next 40 years. Thank you.
And don't forget the Robotech X booth for the next 3 days.
Yeah, they're releasing chapter by
I just wanted to ask if there's any